Hi everyone, how's everyone doing here today? Hope you're all having a safe and eventful 4th of July. Um, well, obviously we've all heard some of the recent news by the ruling from the Supreme Court, which is pretty much, they're kind of saying like, we don't want a president anymore. We want to have a king instead, and of course, who better than King Trump to put the crown on, the emperor who still thinks he's wearing clothes. Anyhow, this is not good, and the fact that this has fallen, that this was even brought to the Supreme Court and they agreed to take it up, speaks volumes. Like, you would think right off the bat they would have just said, no, we're not gonna, we're not gonna make any decision on it. We're gonna dismiss this because no one should be above the law. Don't take my word for it. There's like different members like Alito, Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett, who we got them on video saying, no, nobody's above the law. None. Even the President of the United States is not above the law. Well, say one thing, do something differently the next. Nothing new when you have a conservative, corrupt Supreme Court. Okay? So, I was talking about this before, about the elections, and this just pretty much ups the stakes, where I say it's not about Biden anymore, or even Trump. It is about, good and evil. It is about, fighting for our democracy. Note, I say fight as a metaphor. No, I don't literally want people to go out and do stuff like that. Recently, Don Jr. had his little meltdown because I'm blanking on the person's name. Somebody known on Twitter put out a statement saying how, like, Biden could get SEAL Team 6 on Trump's family. He was just quoting from a previous judge when that was first brought to her attention. I forget the judge's name. Now, the bottom line is this. I'm not wishing any violence on Trump or anyone else for that matter. I don't believe in that. And no one else should either, in spite of how unfair this ruling is. Because here's the bottom line. Let's say Biden decided, since he's the acting president, he should be able to go crazy, right? Because he has immunity as well. He's the acting president. But, according to the Supreme Court, if it's an official act, then they're immune. If it's unofficial, then it's not immune. But they're kind of a little vague on what is official and unofficial, and that's obviously by design because, if, Trump can turn around and say, oh, January 6th was an official act, something like that, and it would fall on the Supreme Court to make that decision. If Joe Biden did something drastic, which he's not going to do, because unlike Trump, he has a set of morals, then the Supreme Court would look at that and say, no, that's unofficial, he can't do that, and stuff like that. What, you think the Supreme Court is going to cut Biden a break? No, I don't think so, okay? We can't count on this Supreme Court, sadly. It is way too corrupt. And we can't count on the media. What we can do is count on each other. I'm talking about anyone outside the MAGA crowd, okay? The cult is just going to keep following their orange Jesus to the end, no matter what. It doesn't matter how corrupt he gets. It doesn't matter all the bad things he does. And what's the worst thing is, like I talked about in the past, fascism eventually impacts everyone. Okay? What Trump and the Supreme Court are aiming for with Project 2025 is basically, we want to overhaul the government, pack it up with loyalists. It doesn't matter if they're experienced or not, just as long as they're willing to say, yes, sir, definitely, sir, right away, sir, no matter what Trump asks for, no matter how unconstitutional or immoral it may be. Okay? And sadly, a lot of the Republicans are on board. I put an asterisk by the name Republican because this isn't the Republican Party anymore. The party of family values and law and order, they pretty much shrugged that off some time ago, along with Trump, to, basically stay in power and a sickness of greed. So we can't count on them either. They're going to keep lying and making excuses and carrying water for Donald Trump, no matter what he does, okay? That's for a later discussion. So, what can we do besides voting? I've talked about this in the past. Ways you can do volunteer work. You can do canvassing. You can do phone banking. You can do texting. You can talk to friends. You can go to joebiden.com. There's a section there where you can offer to volunteer and get more on board, or you can just make donations. I get some of you have busy schedules, but try and put the time in. Another thing I'm doing is with voteforward.org, and what they're doing is sending out letters to potential voters in swing states. I don't live in a swing state, but I still encourage everyone to vote, and I try and talk to people and get them more on board and voting this fascist movement away, okay? Because, again, it's not about Joe Biden anymore. In spite of the debate, in spite of how you feel about him, okay? We're talking about a threat to our democracy, and we all need to unite to get there. We have the majority. It's just a matter of getting out and voting and doing ways to get the message across. If you want, create content on TikTok video. Do it peacefully, please. Again, if you want to protest, that's fine. I don't think that's going to do very much. I'm not really the protesting type, but as long as it's peaceful within legal boundaries. But like I said, get more on board. And if you know of any other sources that can help to get people on to vote, especially in swing states, okay? The more people vote, the greater our chances are winning and, securing the electoral college vote, okay? The object is to get Biden a second term. And it doesn't end there. When he defeats Trump in 2024, which he will, we've got to put the message out that drastic actions and safeguards need to be put in place, like accountability. And one, expand the Supreme Court. If I was Joe Biden, if I was one of his advisors, if it was possible, I don't know if he can, but I would say get at least 5 judges on that court. Progressive, those that actually do believe in the rule of law, and water down this corrupt conservative majority that they have right now. Because the way the court's stacked, it's not in Biden's favor, so he's not going to get what he wants. And like I said, 5 judges by any means necessary, even if you got to force them through. Let the far-right MAGAs whine all they want. And once we do that, do other things to safeguard human rights, like codifying Roe v. Wade, expanding on healthcare and stuff. What red states who are Trump supporters don't realize that because you're so much in this cult that if Trump wins, if Project 25 commences, and the head of the Heritage Foundation, I'm blanking on names, he even threatened violence, saying this will be bloodless as long as you let us do what we got to do. They're basically saying stay out of our way or it's going to get ugly. Well, we got to get in their way and get more involved, okay? Us as the people. As I was saying before, what the MAGAs don't realize is that once they're in charge, they're going to start stripping away rights like crazy. Starting with the women's rights, the rights to vote, same thing for people of color. They're going to start making cuts to Social Security, Medicare. I've talked about this before. The thing about fascism is it impacts everyone negatively in some shape or form. Unless you're like within politics in Congress and you're corrupt to the core and you're in service to their king, Donald Trump, who is only favorable to the big corporations and the wealthy class and his own family, okay? They are not patriots. They are not American. They don't care about the American way. They don't care about you. And unfortunately, there's a lot of cult members out there who just don't want to see that. Or by the time they do see it, it'll be too late. So that's where it's us to get involved and stuff like that. So, like I said, if you know any other ways of getting involved, getting the message across, getting more people on board to vote, strengthening the Biden campaign, and increasing his chances of winning in 2024 and defeating Trump, please let me know, okay? I'm open to ideas, and again, let's keep this peaceful, let's keep this civil, all right? Now's not the time to freak out. I know you get a little worried sometimes. Now's the time to brush away whatever negative feelings or concerns you have and focus on the goal. Win in 2024. Vote blue no matter who. Keep Biden in power. And once he wins, get him on. Start sending the message out there saying you need to do a lot more. He's done some, but he needs to do a lot more to safeguard for 2028. Because honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Trump tried that in 2028. That, just because they failed in 2024, that Project 2025 is going to get scrapped. No, they're going to keep that aside until they get some other lunatic up there who's willing to push their cruel and corrupt agenda. Okay? It's about us. It's about helping Americans, both the red and blue states. It's about securing our democracy. It is about winning this and putting this fascist cult in its place and get as much of this MAGA cancer out of Congress as possible, up to and especially including Donald Trump. He is not fit to be president. He is not a loyal American. He is not a patriot. In fact, quite the opposite. So, again, share me your ideas, look into some of the resources, I'll leave some in the comments, and get more on board, okay? We need to work together to win this, okay? I can't do it alone. We can't do it alone. But when we unite, we are a lot stronger and we can stand up to this. It's not just about you, just about me. It's about America on a whole. It's about our democracy. So There are lives at stake. Vote like your life depends on it in November 2024, because it does. So, anyway, thank you for watching. I really hope you understand.